Guys, 2 truckloads of Fulani herdsmen were found somewhere in Imo State. That made the people to raise alarm. I'm going to allow you to take a look at the video, but see how this headline here captured it. It says, truckloads of Fulani herdsmen smuggled into Oboto, Ugu, Obowo, Imo State, intercepted. Igbo, Moronanya. This is coming in the midst of Catholic bishops asking Tinubu to act, that a lot of bloodshed happening in Nigeria. Like this headline here say, enough is enough. End nationwide bloodshed in Nigeria. Catholic bishops tell Tinubu amid escalating insecurity, guys. Now, this is happening in Enugu State. In Enugu State. Guess what? These terrorists stormed this community, bite people. Like you can see, serious security concern has emerged in Agu after reports of multiple killings by Islamic Fulani terrorist group. Citizens are urging Governor Petamba and relevant authority to take decisive action to protect lives and restore confidence of the public. This is happening in Enugu State, guys. A lot of killing. Don't forget that recently this terrorist stormed the palace of a monarch in Ondo State and killed a man in his palace. Now, see what this Yoruba group is telling Tinubu. Yoruba group urges Tinubu to ignore, Yoruba group accuses Tinubu, of ignoring extremist attacks on traditional rulers in southwest Kwara. Now, the same Kwara, you must have heard that schools have been shut down after terrorists stormed a secondary school and killed the principal there. And also, a whole lot of killings happening. This one I have to say, breaking. Bandits attack Bubu community in Edu local government of Kwara State. Unalive 2 people, residents of Bubu in Edu local government area, were thrown into panic after terrorists reportedly launched an attack on the community last night, Friday 22, that's 22nd, 2026, guys. This is what is happening in Nigeria. A whole lot of bloodshed, and gradually the south is becoming their center this time around, is now their targeted areas, guys. A whole lot is happening in Nigeria. I don't know what you make of this. Now, Southern Taraba has also come under serious attack. Like you can see here, it says, terror attacks intensify in southern Taraba community. Recently, we saw Reverend Fathers in Taraba State were protesting because of the incessant kidnappings and killings happening in their community. These are Christian-dominated areas. These people are all out. The question remains, Tinubu's body language remains unbelievable. I mean, Buhari is even better than Tinubu. Can you imagine the body language of a president whose people... This killing is everywhere, Nigerians. This is happening everywhere. Like you can see, 2 trucks or 2 trucks loaded of Fulanis. Where are they going to? How do they transport people in this manner? I mean, people will just load themselves and storm a community, and then the next thing you will hear is attacks everywhere, guys. I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Now take a look.
Fulani no na moto ajure eju heju ime moto ande Fulani anya wala amara to gele she me na Igbo ono horo ka asa afese.
Even for $1 million, we never vote Tinubu. Tinubu is a failed president. I don't support failure. This is the fact I will always tell you. See, I'm not a selfish person when it comes to money, but trust me, a failed president is a failed president. For good 4 years, he has not achieved anything in Nigeria because of so many people's selfish interest. Because of so many people's selfish interest, they still want to vote that particular failed president. Someone who failed to make provision for health, to make provision for security, to make provision for good road, to like electricity collapse every time. There is no one single thing that he has achieved in good 4 years, and you guys believe that after 4 years, this particular person, you still want to vote him in power, he will be able to do something just because it's going to benefit you just for it.
Years. That's according to research by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Monitoring Group, or ACLED. It says farmers are increasingly targeted as insurgents seize food and land. In rural areas, many residents say the state has failed to protect them, and they fear traveling beyond their towns and village limits. So despite new offensives and government's assurances that the militants are weakening, attacks on civilians are reportedly rising again. And that sense of fear that people have been experiencing in Borno State for many years hasn't gone away. Will they ever see the day when Boko Haram, ISWAP, and other militant groups are completely defeated? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Nigeria's top security analyst and head of Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, Kabir Adamu. Great to see you, Kabir. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Let's start with the reported number of fatalities. According to ACLED, which you're well familiar with, it's an independent monitor that collects data from around the world, the number of fatalities are going up and are at their highest level in 5 years in Borno State. But the government is pushing back hard on that idea that fatality numbers are rising. What does your data show? Because I know you gather a lot of your data as well.
No, definitely. And I think we need to put it in context. ACLED, the information provided is for 5 years. And so we need to kind of run across the 5 years. So in other words, 2020 to 2025 that we are at the moment. For those 5 years, the average number of fatalities nationally is around 10,000 every year.
You mean 10,000 in Borno State or
no,
nationally?
Nationally.
Okay, right.
And then...
You mean nationally in terms of insurgencies or militancy, or nationally across the board?
Across the board.
Okay.
And I was going to break it down.
Right.
Now for Borno State, it comes to an average of about 3,000 out of that 10,000. And that means consistently Borno has maintained top spot in terms of the number.
That's 3,000 a year.
A year.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot.
My goodness.
However, and which is what was not pointed out in the report that the BBC, produced. From May this year, we've seen a consistent decline. We started the year with a monthly figure of around 1,000.
Right.
It peaked in April at 1,300, and then by June it was around 1,200, and then at the last month, which was September, that we documented, it was about 580.
Right.
So it's dipping, it's coming down. And then again, Borno has not changed. Unfortunately, Borno still maintains the top spot in terms of fatalities. So to that extent, yeah, it is correct. But I think we need that granular approach.
Yes.
So to understand
they need to kind of reflect
the
downward trend.
Exactly. And
right.
We've seen downward trends in this manner, but for us to record consistently across 4 months, I think it's something that deserves recognition.
Right. But the fact is that even if it is coming down, as you said, it's still an outrageously high number. And that sense of fear that people feel being in those Boko Haram areas and other ISWAP and all the rest of it, I mean, that hasn't gone away, has it?
Not at all. Essentially, the local governments in Borno are fortress towns. We need to, that's something I would clearly admit.
Yes.
The military has created trenches.
Sometimes in Maiduguri, it's
all over actually.
Okay,
all the local governments.
Right.
The city centers are fortress locations. Trenches have been created around them, and farming activities require land. Sometimes these trenches are a distance of, let's say, 15 kilometers. So for these farmers who, that's their livelihood, they need some time to go out of those fortresses for their livelihood, sometimes for farming, sometimes to gather wood, whatever. Even grasshopper, they do go to fetch grasshoppers. And that's when they encounter these non-state armed groups, including the Jamaat al-Sunnah al-Dawat wal-Jihad, ISWAP, and name them, other criminal groups, and then they kill them. So yes, it is a fact that risk exposure is extremely high in those locations. As long as, if you remain within those fortress city centers, you are likely not to encounter these challenges. But the moment you step out, and people do step out because they have to, fend for themselves, they need their livelihoods and all of that. Some travel from location A to location B. So that's when they encounter. And so to that extent, the report is correct. The risks are still extremely high, but then, like I said, the numbers are reducing.
But are you struck by the fact, because you've been consistently a security analyst with your Beacon Consulting, which is a very well-respected organization, for several years. Are you struck by the fact that, the government at one point told us they technically defeated Boko Haram, and then oh, well, we're going to deal with them and so on, and yet these numbers are still as high as they are.
Yeah, and I mean, the reasons are not far-fetched, Charles. We have 3 instruments that we're using at the national level to address the insurgency or terrorism challenge that we have, which is the National Counter-Terrorism Strategy, the Policy Framework on Countering Violent Extremism, and then our Terrorism Prevention Law as amended in 2022. Now, when you pick each of these instruments, you find out that there are gaps. And I'll quickly kind of mention the most important gaps. Number one is the funding capacity of these bad guys. We've not done much to block that funding capacity. They're still able to collect dues. They're still able to, kidnap individuals, collect the ransom in ridiculous amounts. Number two is their weaponry. They're still able to acquire weaponry, sometimes from attacking our military formations, other times from across the border. We've not done much to reduce that capacity. Number three is their ability to recruit new members. We've not really done much in preventing them from recruiting those new members. And the fourth point rather, is their ability to move around from locations. We, at the point where the authorities technically defeated the group, they were more or less contained in the Northeast. Today, we have at least 3 fronts that we're dealing with. We have the Northwest Front in Sokoto and Kebbi, then we have the North Central Front in Kwara, and in parts of Niger State. So clearly, even if we had technically defeated them, the inability to suffocate the oxygen that allows them to propagate has now created a situation where we're not just dealing with them in the Northeast, we're dealing with them in other parts of the country, sadly.
That's a very important, very vital piece of information that you're giving us there. And just returning to that Borno State area, the farmers, as you said, still unable to farm, and we understand they can't do it unless they're under military escorts. There's something called agro rangers or something that they I mean, so basically Boko Haram, even if they're in other words, the reason why they are accompanied by the military and by agro rangers because Boko Haram is still there.
Exactly. To limit their exposure to members of, and I don't like using the term Boko Haram because it diffuses.
Yeah, but I can't say. You say what's the name again?
So there are 2 groups that we're dealing with: the Islamic State in West Africa Province. I think it's easy to mention that, and then the Jamaat al-Ithna al-Dawati wal-Jihad, which in short is called JAS.
Yeah, now, which we call Boko Haram.
Well, the thing is,
but that's not really their correct name.
And it kind of diffuses these 2 divisions that I've mentioned. We need to be clear. There is a difference between the activities and the modus operandi of these 2 groups. And so identifying them, knowing where they operate, what they are after, it's very important. It would help. But bottom line,
that's why we rely on experts like yourself.
Yeah, and thank you, Charles. It's important to the point you made that the moment they step out, they are vulnerable, and that's why those agro rangers are there. But then the challenge is this: number one, the number of agro rangers. And let's not forget that it's not just the agro rangers. We need to not just recognize, but also applaud the role that the civilian JTF are playing. They are a significant component.
That's the Joint Task Force's JTF.
No. These are a group of civilian, operatives who have been recruited by the state and that are supporting the federal agencies. They are quite effective. They provide intelligence. Sometimes they're in the forefront actually of whatever intervention it is. So they support these agro rangers, and then of course the military is there. The police are also sometimes there.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but I mean we had from the original report that I think was produced by the BBC, we had some of the farmers saying that these agro rangers and even the army often run away when Boko Haram turn up in large numbers and confront them. I mean, you don't blame them necessarily, because if you've got 3 or 4 people and then these guys come with 300 people, I mean, I'd run away, to be honest.
So, I mean, I was getting to that. The weaponry at the disposal of the agro rangers is nothing compared to what this bad guys have. I mean, if the military is finding it difficult sometimes to withstand and to confront, these bad guys,
what more
then
the
what more
agro
Rangers?
Right.
And so it is a fact that the capacity of not just the agro Rangers, but the various elements that I've mentioned to ward off and to control. Sometimes the challenge is synergy. Till date, Charles, and I think it's very important for us to note this, our monopoly of the air component is still sacrosanct. There is no non-state actor that has acquired the capability to challenge the monopoly of
but do they have drones and things?
They do, but not weaponized,
right, or weaponized
drones.
Right,
they've attempted to contract.
Well, if they get those, we're in trouble.
Exactly. So point I'm trying to make is we still have the capacity, if there was synergy, for some form of rapid response to support these agro rangers and make sure they don't run away, in the manner that those who have been interviewed have mentioned. But I mean, we must also comment this at the current military leadership and the other members of the security architecture. We've seen an improvement in that synergy, but there is still a long way to go. The false multipliers that would allow the people to feel protected, those false multipliers are yet to be deployed in the manner that we expect.
Well, I mean, there is obviously the federal strategy, but I understand there is also a statewide strategy in Borno State for dealing with this insurgency. It's something called the Borno Model, which is a community-driven initiative introduced by the governor of Borno State to persuade Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters to surrender their weapons and embrace peace. And the government claims that they're surrendering every day and that this non-kinetic approach has been working. What's your assessment of that?
At the last count, if I remember well, we're told that over 120,000 have surrendered. So that's something to be applauded.
Well, that's a lot. It's a lot.
Well,
over what period of time?
I think from 2018, that was when this Borno model was introduced. And the military general retired, who is managing that process, deserves a lot of commendation. If Nigeria, in the manner of my previous discussant, was a state that wants to progress, that military general should be brought to the federal level. That model should be replicated.
Yes, indeed.
In the minimum, he has been able to reduce the strength of these two groups that I've mentioned.
But if there's 120,000 have...
that includes family members, operators,
I was going to say, if they've surrendered
captives.
And Boko Haram and ISWAP are still as effective as they are, I mean, they must have huge numbers of followers.
Yeah, but remember what I said earlier on, that we've not been able to suffocate them. They're still able to recruit new members.
So yes, as they're surrendering, they're kind of replenishing their numbers.
Exactly. Unless we approach the challenge in that multifaceted manner, where we're reducing their numbers and killing the ones that are being killed. A lot are being killed. A significant number are surrendering. But we also need to stop them from recruiting new members. The policy framework on countering violent extremism has a lot of strategies to reduce the recruitment. The challenge, Charles, is we've not implemented that document. The beauty, and I'm quite excited, is that the revised version of that document is about to be published or introduced by this administration, and the process for revising it was quite inclusive. The validation process was quite commendable. So we're hoping that the mistakes, the errors that occurred in the implementation of the previous one will help reduce that. The Borno model deserves commendation. There are challenges surrounding it because, I mean, you gather 120,000 people. What have you done with them? Have you been able to debrief them? What kind of information did you get from them? What are you doing with them at the moment? Because some of them, from what we're hearing, just stay in the camp and then they're able to leave the camp and unfortunately continue the dastardly activities that they're doing. Yeah.
So in those circumstances, do you think we'll ever see the day when Boko Haram and ISWAP and all the others are completely defeated?
So I mean, anyone interested in in the answer to your question should pick the book "How to End Terrorism." Meanwhile, I actually got that book. I shared it with some of the leadership in our security. It's a very interesting book. It spoke about 6 scenarios how terrorism would end. In those 6 scenarios, in none did it emphasize the kinetic approach. Yes, the kinetic approach is important, but you can never win a terrorism situation with just the kinetic approach. The root causes of terrorism need to be addressed. In our own case, the root causes are socio-economic, they are political, and to an extent, the attitude of our security forces. The recruitment is being done by these 3 things. So unless we address those 3 things, and if we continue on this path that we are at the moment, where the focus is kinetic, we're not going to get out of this, sadly. And I'm saying this with all sense of responsibilities. Those 4 elements that I mentioned earlier on, funding, equipment, ability to recruit, then their capacity to move from point A to point B, we need to stop that. Once we stop those 4 things, it's just a matter of time. This would come to a natural end.
And Kabir, now that we've got you here, I mean, we've got literally about 2 minutes or so left. I mean, what's because your organization, Beacon Consulting, you come up with these regular sort of figures and statistics and so on about what is going on generally. I mean, beyond Borno State, we've got banditry, we've got, IPOB, we've got all kinds of things across the country. Just very briefly, give us an overview of what is going on now, where things stand with all of that.
Let me just, in terms of a ball figure, at the end of September, from January to the end of September, for abduction, we've recorded 6,874 Nigerians that were, Nigerians and internationals that are living in Nigeria that have been abducted within those months. And then for fatalities, we have...
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Then we have 8,886 persons that have been killed within from January to the end of September 2025. But this is the beauty of the situation, if at all there's any positive side. Like I mentioned, starting from June, we saw the numbers decreasing. From 1,300 a month, we are at 596 at the end of September. That needs commendation. And what are the reasons for this dip? Number one, we've seen improved intelligence. We're now seeing intelligence-led and precise interdiction attacks where they're killing the bad guys, they are destroying their supply chains. That deserves commendation. Number two is this introduction of the forest guards by the president, and of course with the state governors. I think we need to move fast on that particular element
to strengthen,
make sure that the policy, as it were, is implemented fully, so that our forested areas are no longer being used as safe havens for these bad guys. Sambisa Forest, as an example, that's where Omandara Mountains, that's where these bad guys kind of, they stay, including the Lake Chad Basin. They stay, come out and conduct it. So we need to occupy those locations, and I think the president is very, very smart in doing that. Number three, Charles, which is absolutely important, we need to be able to disaggregate the challenges. The issue of agro-rangers is a bit contentious, and I would quickly explain what I mean. Agro-rangers are supporting farmers. What of the herders, who also are claiming that they are being cattle are being rustled, they are being killed? Who is protecting them? Nobody is protecting them. So we need to approach security from that diverse lens, so that every member of the society feels is also protected. Justice, there can't be peace without justice. So we must strengthen that justice component. Indeed. So that every Nigerian feels he's being fairly treated.
Even Satan is angry with this, seriously. The way these guys are acting, Satan is he's certainly angry with these people. Because there are things you will do, Satan will frown at it and say, this one is too much now. Because those riffraffs, they cannot afford to buy catapult, not to talk of AK-47. If all of us become violent, Esther, are you sure I will be here today?
But Barrister, findings according to what Punch released earlier today is that about 271 people have been killed, and that 253 others were abducted in a series of terrorist attacks in the past 4 weeks across the states. Barrister, we have not heard the president speak. Nigerians are wondering, why has the president been quiet? We just hear through his media aides that, oh, we have sent military men to these areas, or we apologize, or we plead or something. Even when it happened, no statement was released, I think, since Tuesday, Wednesday, up until this morning, kind of early this morning, that we now heard the president has sent a direct warning to the chief of army staff that a group of military men should be sent down there to ensure that they protect. But the thing is, this is always done after a major attack has happened.
Exactly.
It always happens. The same thing too in Yelwata. When they got information from the DSS that an attack was imminent, was going to take place, they came there and then left after a while because it didn't happen as they wanted. Don't they know that persons would have known that there was military presence and waited until they left? And the idea is to remain there to ensure that that attack doesn't happen. Most times you hear that it's after these people have left that they now come to attack. Even in Kwara, they said some military men were sent to the community, and after they waited for a while, they left because they got a letter from this radicalist that they were coming to the community to radicalize the residents in that area. The emir immediately told the local government chairman and the authorities that this is the letter they got. The residents too raised alarm before these guys started coming in tranches and habitating in the community forest along the area. So why do we always have an approach whereby the dastardly act or the terrible situation would have been carried out before any measure to either forestall or prevent such a thing is taking place?
That is the hallmark of a failed state. A state that has failed in its responsibility. What you're supposed to do, you are trying to outsource it, maybe to America, because that is what is trending now. America will come here to do our job for us. Tomorrow you blame America that wherever they go, they always leave a problem there and all that. But you are the one that invited them. You are the one that opened your door for them to come in. Did they force themselves on you? No. You call them in. Then later you start blaming them. Look, Esther, this thing is very, very unfortunate. The person that want to radicalize those villagers in Kwara, who now radicalize them themselves? Somebody must have radicalized them when they were growing up. Is that not true? For them to turn out to be who they are today, they didn't start from infancy. Somebody must have been teaching them, indoctrinating them. And then when they have now become adults, they unleash them into the society. And then tomorrow you start asking, oh, how did we get here? Who are these people? We don't know them. But you are the one breeding them. You knew. All those things you are doing in your small corner. All these Ile-Ikewu that they used to go and teach them things. When you are doing, you don't know that it will snowball into something big at the end of the day. And that was why Jonathan built those Al-Majiri schools, so that you can cut off their lifeline. When there is no more this Al-Majiris to radicalize, the system will gradually die off. That was the essence of sending these children to school, so that they will know that what they are doing is wrong. But Esther, after Jonathan, what happened to his schools? 165 of them. What happened to those schools, Esther? You can see. The northern leaders, are they not supposed to take a cue and say, this is a welcome relief, and make sure that all their children go through that school, proper education, so that they'll be useful to themselves and to Nigeria? But no, everything is all about violence, 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 violence. Violence. They are not even thinking of you. No, you that is very peaceful, you that is adding value to the economy of this country, you that is following due process, you that is following rule of law. When you have any grievances, they see you as a fool. I'm not joking. They see you as a fool. If you are not violent, you are not a human being. If you are not violent, you are not a human being, Esther. That is their own mentality. So how can you live with such a people and you make progress in life, Esther? Is it possible? Do you know how many prominent lives that have been wasted in this thing? I mean, prominent life. People that would have become useful to their parents, their community, the state, and the Nigeria. in future. Now they are all gone, killed for no justifiable reason. And you think this will not have effect in our lives tomorrow? A land watered with human blood. A land watered with human blood. It has now become a field of blood. How can any progress come in that environment? Go and check how God will frown at wasting human life. How God will frown at it. When Cain killed his brother Abel, God was so angry, and he rained curses on him. At a point, Cain said, God, this...
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sent a military conscription to Kwara State because of what happened. The governor there, Abdul Fattah, I think, has come out to say that the reason why they did what they did was the people refused to adopt and accept the radical indoctrination that those individuals as jihadists were actually perpetrating in the community, and that was basically what happened. But they said that there were reports that these guys have been along the forest, in those areas, and the residents have been sending messages and complaints that these persons are not part of the community. We don't know who they are, so you need to do something. But that the government of the state government did not respond or react. And then you recall that we heard the NSA gave some persons weapons or so to protect the borders in Kwara. So what happened?
What happened is what happened. That will tell you that these people are not sincere. Seriously, they are not sincere. Because if the people have been complaining and you are aware, you didn't do anything until now. In fact, all of us knew when these Lukarawa people entered Kwara. We knew when they came in there. Imagine if the military had been very, very frontal in dealing with them. Would they remain like this? Would they have become this bold? The answer is no. So we are the cause of our problem because we are always what? Reactive, not proactive.
Okay.
Yes, if we have been proactive, somebody would have gone to question them when they were coming in trickles like that. In trickles. But they have consolidated now. They have dug trenches, to the extent that they can now, pointing where these people are. Or you just know and you keep quiet. Look, this one is getting tired of all this thing. Do you want because somebody is going to call and tell me that you can see now Muslims are being killed. The people say it's a Christian genocide. Please, Esther, do you have to wait until either Muslims or Christians are killed before you can make a statement? Do you have to wait? You can see that the modus operandi of this jihad is the same thing. Go and read the history of how Turkey was taken over. How Libya, how Tunisia, Egypt, all those African states that they took over, it was through violence, Esther. It was through violence. So when some people are telling me that they don't know these people, they are not even Muslims, but you benefit from what they have done. All the violence that they visited on the people. When the dust is settled down, you will now come over, establish a government there, establish a media council. You will not tell us now that these people, what they did is not good. Just look at what is going on. Have any Muslim, these people that said that Amobito should be sacked, Esther, have they spoken? Have they spoken against this killing?
No, they're quiet. That's the person who is speaking. I think what's his name, Mr. Yusuf, one guy, former NIA boss or something like that.
I said that leadership that
is facing court issues. He went and said that Amobito must be sacked.
That's what I'm saying. Apart from that particular person, I said the leadership that said that that INEC chairman should be sacked. Have they spoken? This issue now that happened and the story, the issue of the INEC chairman, which one is worse? Esther, you can see our people. If the Muslim leadership has been very frontal in confronting these people and what they are doing, Esther will not be here today. We will not be here today, seriously, we will not be here. That's the truth. Things wouldn't have gotten this far. But because in fact, they solidly support them. Solidly support them, only to be pretending that they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. They don't know. So who is arming them? Who is supporting them? Who is giving them logistics? Who gave them the guns? Because those riffraffs, they cannot afford to buy catapult, not to talk of AK-47. Somebody is sponsoring somebody here. So who are those people? Have you seen why I will never believe this Muslim leadership whenever they speak? Because they are not sincere. They are not sincere at all. It is the owner of a mad dog that will call a mad dog to order. When you have a mad dog in the heart, and the dog begin to bark and run riot, it is you, the owner, that will call the dog, come here, go and rein the dog in. But these people just relax. They kept quiet.
But Barrister, findings according to what Punch released earlier today is that about 271 people have been killed, and that 253 others were abducted in a series of terrorist attacks in the past 4 weeks across the states. Barrister, we have not heard the president speak. Nigerians are wondering, why has the president been quiet? We just hear through his media aides that, oh, we have sent military men to these areas, oh, we apologize, oh, we plead or something. Even when it happened, no statement was released, I think, since Tuesday, Wednesday, up until this morning, kind of early this morning, that we now heard the president has sent a direct warning to the chief of army staff that a group of military men should be sent down there to ensure that they protect. But the thing is, this is always done after a major attack has happened.
Exactly.
It always happens. The same thing too in Yelwata. When they got information from the DSS that an attack was imminent, was going to take place, they came there and then left after a while because it didn't happen as they wanted. Don't they know that persons would have known that there was military presence and waited until they left? And the idea is to remain there to ensure that that attack doesn't happen. Most times you hear that it's after these people have left that they now come to attack. Even in Kwara, they said some military men were sent to the community, and after they waited for a while, they left because they got a letter from this radicalist that they were coming to the community to radicalize the residents in that area. The emir immediately told the local government chairman and the authorities that this is the letter they got. The residents too raised alarm before these guys started coming in tranches and habitating in the community forest along the area. So why do we always have an approach whereby the dastardly act or the terrible situation would have been carried out before any measure to either forestall or prevent such a thing is taking place?
That is the hallmark of a failed state. A state that has failed in its responsibility. What you're supposed to do, you are trying to outsource it, maybe to America, because that is what is trending now. America will come here to do our job for us. Tomorrow you blame America that wherever they go, they always leave a problem there and all that. But you are the one that invited them. You are the one that opened your door for them to come in. Did they force themselves on you? No. You call them in. Then later you start blaming them. Look, Esther, this thing is very, very unfortunate. The person that want to radicalize those villagers in Kwara, who now radicalize them themselves? Somebody must have radicalized them when they were growing up. Is that not true? For them to turn out to be who they are today, they didn't start from infancy. Somebody must have been teaching them, indoctrinating them. And then when they have now become adults, they unleash them into the society. And then tomorrow you start asking, oh, how did we get here? Who are these people? We don't know them. But you are the one breeding them. You knew. All those things you are doing in your small corner. All these Ile-Ikewu that they used to go and teach them things. When you are doing, you don't know that it will snowball into something big at the end of the day. And that was why Jonathan built those Al-Majiri schools, so that you can cut off their lifeline. When there is no more this Al-Majiris to radicalize, the system will gradually die off. That was the essence of sending these children to school, so that they will know that what they are doing is wrong. But Esther, after Jonathan left, what happened to his schools? 165 of them. What happened to those schools, Esther? You can see. The northern leaders, are they not supposed to take a cue and say, this is a welcome relief, and make sure that all their children go through that school, proper education, so that they'll be useful to themselves and to Nigeria. But no, everything is all about violence, 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 violence. They are not even thinking of you. No, you that is very peaceful, you that is adding value to the economy of this country, you that is following due process, you that is following rule of law, when you have any grievances, they see you as a fool. I'm not joking. They see you as a fool. If you are not violent, you are not a human being. If you are not violent, you are not a human being, Esther. That is their own mentality. So how can you live with such a people and you make progress in life, Esther? Is it possible? Do you know how many prominent lives that have been wasted in this thing? I mean, prominent life. People that would have become useful to their parents, their community, the state and the Nigeria in future. Now they are all gone. Killed for no justifiable reason. And you think this will not have effect in our lives tomorrow? A land watered with human blood. A land watered with human blood. It has now become a field of blood. How can any progress come in that environment? Go and check how God will frown at wasting human life. How God will frown at it. When Cain killed his brother Abel, God was so angry and he rained curses on him. At a point, Cain said, God, these curses are too much now. That will tell you how God will frown at killing human beings for whatever reason. Not to talk of innocent lives. And you are telling me that you not reap the fruits tomorrow. You will, oh. Esther, they will reap the fruit. Those who are sponsoring, those who are carrying out this wickedness. Esther, the result is waiting for them at the gate of their house. That is where they will meet it. I'm not joking. That is the only prayer I have today. That this thing you did to somebody, let somebody do it to you too, or any member of your family. That's all. Because whatever you sow, you will reap. I'm not the one that put that law. God cannot even change that law. As long as He has put it in place, you can never change it. It will definitely come to pass. That is my consolation here. Those who died innocently, those who died for no justifiable reason, don't bother yourself. Your God will fight for you. The person that did this, he will repeat. I don't need anybody to tell me that. It is a certainty. So let them continue. Because tomorrow now, when their statistics will come out, they not will say, we are not good, we are behind in education, we are behind in this, we are behind the human development index, we are behind in so how can you not take political power from us? Esther, that has been the argument too. Are you aware? That has been the argument. Very, very awkward argument. So am I the one that said you should not send your children to school? Am I the one? Is that not the path you have chosen? Thinking that with the violence you can get what you want, you can do whatever you like, you know? That is their mentality. The more violent people they are, they believe they can use it to bargain in Nigeria. They can use it to bargain. And now look at where it has left them and the economy. Esther, look at where it has left them and the economy. And yet they'll be complaining to you. Telling the Nigerian state how the North are backwards, how the North are this. With all the advantages they have, vast land, arable vast land that they can no longer farm. There are people that have been in leadership for almost 50 years of our independence. Can you just imagine? So what benefit have you turned this thing into? Nothing. Except what? Breeding violent individuals. Somebody will just wake up, carry gun, carry cutlass, enter a village and start killing people.
Barrister, let's take a listen to this. Let's listen to what one of Let's listen to what one of the residents and even some of the community leaders there had to say about how these individuals come and make decisions that are actually in the community itself, like they know themselves in some instances. Let's listen to this.
Now what they are doing in our villages, bandit will call you and say, I see that you are second wife, please bring her to me. And they will have to go and take her. There was one son, wallahi, he told me that his daughter was 14 years old. He said he should take her. He had to take her. And then she come back. And after one of the commanders say also he likes her. And so now these people live with this, it become new normal in their lives. This is what happening to our people. These bandits are not coming from anywhere. We know them, we know their parents, we know their parents will even come to your house and tell you why their son is a commander. This morning, somebody called me when he had this discussion. His wife was kidnapped by these bandits. And he said last month, these same kids who came to his house and kidnapped his wife, he saw them in front of the house taking cocoa. And then they say, Allah told Allah I hakuri. So please just take it easy and forget just about like the past. And these are the people. And in my village in Kurfi, there is a lady not far from my house. She was kidnapped and she was having twins. They went with her. When she was going out to the bandits, her 5-year-old kid woke up and he said, Mama, where are you going? She said, no, wait for me, I will come back. He held her leg. Even the bandit couldn't separate the kids. They went with the twins who were 2 months old. And with that kid. So, and they had to come, they had to pay 5 million naira. When they paid 5 million naira, they tell him, go and bring your wife and the twins. So when he went, they paid them money. He was coming with the lady. When they were coming out, the bandit hold the 5-year-old. He said, no, go. But this boy went in here, you have to add more money. This I'm telling you, the wife, the lady, the husband, they are alive. When they went to bring the boy was in my house, 5-year-old. On his back, you have over 20 points while they quench cigarettes. Oh my God. On the 5-year kid. So if you, this bandit, you say there are certain problems that happen to you, you are being cheated by traditional rulers or police, those common man, they are not part of your problem. So what have they done? What a kid of 5-year-old, you quench cigarette on him.
Alright, sir.
That is the result of upbringing. Esther, you can see now. Is that not upbringing that caused all this in Esther? If those bandits, they call them, were properly brought up, would they behave like that? Would they behave like that, Esther? Don't you have children here? Why did they grow up with such mentality? Esther, you can see the deep problem we are talking about. I have been telling Nigerian government, call a meeting. Esther, we need to have a conference. Look, we should come together again and discuss. Call the northern leaders. Do you want us to live together or not? Because this your character will never move Nigeria forward. Esther, the federal government of Nigeria need to call a meeting. I'm not joking. All the regions have to come together. Because with this type of thing, Esther, in the next 200 years, Nigeria will be where they are. Because these people will never allow you to make progress. All these things that the federal government, all these proposals, this is just by mouth. Oh. Without peace, you cannot implement anything. Without peace, you are not going anywhere. I'm not joking. Look at that man talking. He said they are there, they are living with them. I told you here before that 90% of the people disturbing us are from Nigeria, especially from the northern region. Only 10% may be from outside. So when somebody tells you that they are from Sahel, or they are from hell, it's not totally true. Because they pass some country before they enter Nigeria. Nigeria is bordered by several countries. countries in the northern region. Yes, they are bordered. So how did they pass those countries and enter Nigeria? Ask yourself. How did they pass those countries and enter Nigeria? So the thing that is doing us is from us. The man was very clear about what he was saying. That is when you bring out children in a very toxic environment. You put wickedness, you put hate in their head. And when they grow up, what do you expect from them, Esther? Tell me. Tell me, can you give what you don't have? These children were indoctrinated from infancy on how to be wicked. How to be wicked, Esther, how to be wicked. And they grew up with it. So what do you want them to return to society? Peace, Abi? You indoctrinate wickedness in them and you want them to give you peace. Esther, it can never happen. Esther, it can never happen. Every time they will tell you Christianity, this and that. Yes, and we thank God for that. They did not indoctrinate us to be wicked. That is the advantage here. Because all this is started from infancy. Meanwhile, the leadership that is behind us, their own children are schooling abroad though. Esther, can you just imagine? Their own children, one was paying $5 million for his own children in a secondary school in Switzerland. Meanwhile, the children of the Talakawas are being used as cannon fodder, dregs of the society. Whenever they want any dirty job to be done, they will go to their mosque to gather them and speak one language for them. And you will be hearing Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. And hell will be let loose. They won't even ask themselves, this thing I'm doing, is it right or wrong? Because their leader spoke, it's okay. That is all they need. Their leader spoke. That is what they want from their leader. Just say it and it will be done. Whether it is right or not, Esther. That is the country that want to make progress in life. With this kind of character. Look at how much we are wasted in financial resources, in human resources, Esther. When are you going to recover all these things? No, tell me. Good money that would have been used for education, health, everything. Look at the people on strike now. They are demanding for their money. Is that not why they're on strike? Meanwhile, we are wasting money trying to pay ransom to terrorists who invaded Nigeria. And most of them living with us. We have become so helpless that this thing has become a norm. Imagine. 5-year-old. 5-year-old. Even Satan is angry with this, seriously. The way these guys are acting, Satan is he's certainly angry with these people. Because there are things he will do. Satan will frown at it and say, this one is too much now. They don't care. Esther, they don't care. So when we are talking of Nigeria peace, it is the Christians in the south here. I have repeated this in several times. Tell me otherwise if I'm not saying the truth. So why can't you imbibe the same spirit? Why can't you imbibe the same spirit so that Nigeria can move forward? If all of us become violent, Esther, are you sure I will be here today?
Barrister, some people will say all we are doing is talking. What would you propose we do now?
Do
we keep arms? Do Esther, we start keeping arms?
It is good
to protect ourselves.
It is good we call out their leader. That's what I've been saying here.
But the thing is that Barrister, these leaders will be called, nothing is going on, and they keep killing people anyhow. How will people come to your home and kill you?
Because
just like that.
Yes, that's what you are saying. We want to stop it.
Who is supplying them arms?
It will start from their leader. Esther, let their leaders call them to order.
Their leaders are also victims. No, you heard what happened to the emir there.
Esther, before it got to this stage, what was their upbringing? That's what I'm telling you. If you fail to teach your child at home, somebody outside will teach that child. Is that not true? Before it got to this stage, how were they raising their children? Is it not fundamental? It's very, very fundamental. You give birth to children, you don't know where they are from year to year. They are in the hands of evil men who are indoctrinated them in the name of what do they call it now? Begging. Esther, don't we have Muslims in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia? I mean, core Muslim states. Please, do you see this type, or do you see or hear this type of thing there? It has to be in Nigeria. It has to be in Nigeria, Esther. These children, from infancy, they started indoctrinating them. So when they grow up, what do you think will happen? When you are telling me their leaders are victims, yes, it is the seed, the evil seed they sowed on those children. It has germinated. It has germinated. When they say parenting is not a tea party, it's a serious issue because of your tomorrow. You think it's a joke. If you don't take conscious effort to train your children, then you will reap it later in life. You reap it. Those people doing those, they were giving birth to somebody. Is that not true? Did they fall from heaven? Did they fall from heaven? Because when they want to run away from their responsibility, they say they came from Sahel. They came from Libya. They came. Why is this not happening where they come from? No, why is it not this hot when they came from? They left where they came from. They entered Nigeria. Look at arguments. Esther, look at. Didn't they say that charity begins at home? If it is where they came from, why can't they start it there? They had to come to Nigeria for nothing, and you did not welcome them, Abi.
So guys, let me quickly take you through some of the reactions coming from Nigerians this time as regards to the election. They just concluded election in the FCT. Wike has succeeded. He said, just go and vote, leave the rest for me. They've succeeded in rigging the election so that APC will win. It's really so shameful. It's really so shameful that Tinubu cannot even win, cannot even allow a free and fair election. I don't know this desperation, where it's coming from. Honestly, sometimes when you look at what's happening in Nigeria, you just feel like, should we just quit? I mean, because there is no hope from what is happening. I mean, there is no hope. The online people calling Peter Obi an online president. Peter Obi has done his bit. History will be kind to him. This coming from Ayo Fayoshe. He said Peter Obi has done his bit. History will be kind to him. You know, Peter Obi really campaigned for Dr. Mo, but because we have riggers who do not even care to see Nigeria survive, that is what is it. When mentioned in relation way too common, okay, that's not what I want to take. Now let's see how Nigerians have reacted. The obedient movement leader Tanko was seen in a video, and this headline here says, breaking ADC and obedient movement reject outcome of FCT area council election, calls for total cancellation as they allege APC victory was a result of violence and manipulation. And then some people are saying that the opposition is not well strategized. They don't have a very good strategy. Like this person here say, they should wrap up this approach now. This is 2026 and it's APC, Tinubu and Wike that is in power. All this media talk will hold no water. And moreover, it's starting to look as if this ADC coalition is a joke and they don't understand what's at stake. And this other person he say, I really thought this coalition was going to be serious about opposition, but they've been a huge disappointment. At this rate, even struggling PDP has better shots in 2027. And this other person here say this is a problem with Nigeria opposition. They are always playing defense after the fact and crying foul. APC is all over the place, working, building structure, and deploying the so-called city boys to influence voters, lobbying people from other parties to defect to the APC, but the opposition was asleep, aimless, and ruthless. The party bigwig in the life in Dubai luxuriously, they are not even on ground. And this person here said they need to sit up and stop crying foul. From now, they just cannot beat the APC. And this person said this guy isn't serious. Rather than addressing the real issue, he's chasing clout under the obedient banner. ADC presented weak candidates, and that's exactly what they lost, why they lost the election. This person said nonsense. They should go and sit down. ADC is not ready. This is what they will do in 2027. You guys can't waste my time again. So guys, many Nigerians are saying enough of all this. And this person say this is not enough to allege and will after the election. They already knew what was obtainable before the election. Why did they not what did they do to stop the rigging and violence? If they continue like this, they will still will after 2027. There must be a proper plan to match the madness of the ruling party. Mercy after death. That was that's what has been happening over the years. Why can't we match the madness of APC, beat them to their game, make Ona no use me? So this one for February, opposition should be firm beforehand. Another person here say it is very evident now that the ADC coalition is a very weak opposition that cannot defend the votes of its voters. I will advise all sensible Nigerians not to waste their time voting for ADC in the future election simply because they obviously don't know, neither are they equipped, committed, or ready to fight as an opposition, despite all the available evidence and INEC IRE from this concluded election to revive, pursue, and nail the chase of mandatory real-time transmission of election results. Still, we see what we saw from ADC is soft online ranting, post by and on small Nigerian social media blogs and spaces. Please, where are the big joint press conferences showing international media outlets like CNN? So I don't know. Honestly, it's really so sad that the system has been rigged against the people. If we lose somebody like Peter Obi, I don't know who else again. I don't know who honestly. It's really so pathetic what's happening in Nigeria. I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.